For Captain America, The First Avengers, screenplay by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, directed by Joe Johnston. Game of Thrones Season 1, created by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, written by David Benioff, D.B. Weiss, Brian Cogman, Jane Espenson, George R.R. Martin, directed by Brian Kirk, Daniel Minahan, Tim Van Patten, and Alan Taylor. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, screenplay by Steve Kloves, directed by David Yates. Hugo, screenplay by John Logan, directed by Martin Scorsese. And Source Code, screenplay by Ben Ripley, directed by Duncan Johnson. The winner for 2012 Hugo for Best Dramatic Presentation Long Form. Bum, 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 bum. Game of Thrones.
Wow, this is a nice room to be in. I've been a fan since I was a kid, so it's a great thrill to be here tonight. Any actor will tell you that opportunity is everything for us, and the opportunity to work on a fantastic piece of work is something that comes to us really very seldom. To be involved in something like this, to be involved in the project which took George's magnificent vision from the page to the screen has been a huge privilege from start to finish. And I'm lucky enough to be here tonight representing the actors and the technical staff, the behind-the-scenes people who made this possible. All I can say on their behalf to all of you is thank you so much. We're enormously touched and I'm enormously grateful, and it's a huge privilege to be here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you indeed. I had dinner tonight over at the Swiss Hotel at the Palm because I'm superstitious, and it was a number of years ago when I was out in LA for a convention that my agent set up a meeting at the Los Angeles branch of the Palm where I met two screenwriters named David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who were mad fools who thought that we could do my fantasy series as a television show. I'd previously had many meetings with screenwriters who wanted to do it as a feature film, and I'd listened to some of them, but trying to get all of Game of Thrones into a 2-hour movie was impossible. But David Benioff and Dan Weiss wanted to do it the way I thought it could be done, as a series of television shows, each book being a single novel. And we had, the Palm has great food, by the way, and we had a wonderful lunch together, and the restaurant was completely full, and we talked, and we talked, and we talked, and the restaurant began to empty out. And pretty soon we were the only ones left in the restaurant from the lunch bunch, and we still talked. I ordered more coffee. And then they reset all the tables but ours, and people started coming in for dinner, and we were still talking. And the restaurant filled up again for dinner, and there we were, still over our coffee. They must have hated us at the restaurant. But it was one of the great experiences, one of the great lunches of my life, and it has set in motion all of this madness, which has led us to here. The show is a faithful adaptation of my books. I'm often asked, what do I think of it? The answer is that I love it. Sure, I wish we had 2 more hours every season. Sure, I wish we had the budget of any of those 4 movies that we just competed against. But given what we do have, working for the magnificent folks at HBO, working with the finest cast in television, including Mr. Ron Donacci, who HBO sent here tonight. Mr. Robert Hessa, we did have to sew his head back on to get him here, which was a hard part. It's immensely exciting to be here. It's been a long, strange trip, and we do hope to have many more seasons. So I hope you guys like them all as much as you liked the first season. And my thanks go to David and Dan, of course to my wife Paris, always, who's been with me through all the stages of this, and to this incredible cast of writers and directors and set designers, costume designers, all of our craft and technical people who've made this show such an extraordinary pleasure to be associated with. Thank you all very, very much.